Welcome back. I'm Eddie Muller. Today we pay a visit to Sin City, USA, which in the 1940s and 50s was the nickname given to Phenix City, Alabama, the setting for today's Noir Alley offering, The Phenix City Story, released by Allied artists in 1955. It's something of a landmark in the chronology of American crime films, as it abandons the gloss and artifice of studio-made film noir for a grimier and grittier documentary-style approach to a true crime story. Although director Phil Karlson seasons his cast with familiar faces like John McIntyre, Richard Kiley, Kathryn Grant, Edward Andrews, and James Edwards, many of the players were actual citizens of Phenix City, where the film was shot on location. Phenix City, Alabama is located on the banks of the Chattahoochee River, right across from Columbus, Georgia, and the Fort Benning Army Base, which straddles the Alabama-Georgia border. For a town of only 24,000 people, Phenix City earned an outsized reputation as a den of iniquity during the Second World War, when vice, namely gambling and prostitution, became the town's economic engine. Racketeers flocked to the city, catering to both soldiers and tourists looking for fun and exciting ways to lose their money. Legitimate businesses put up little resistance to the influx of organized crime, as their shops drew more people than would ever have come there normally. When General Patton visited Fort Benning and saw for himself what went on in Phenix City, he suggested using the Army's tanks to run the whole place into the ground. I'll assume the general did not condone the mattress vans that were used to ferry working girls right to the gates of the Army base. Everything changed, however, with the murder of a local lawyer who won the Democratic primary for Attorney General by campaigning to clean up the city. Suddenly, a national spotlight shone on this small Alabama town. Producer-writer Crane Wilbur, a specialist in true crime, went to Phenix City to research it for a possible film project funded by independent producer Samuel Bischoff. Now, exposés of organized crime were all the rage on American screens, but few of these largely fictionalized accounts could boast of being made in Sin City, USA. Writer Daniel Mannering, who had written the novel that became Out of the Past, polished up Wilbur's treatment, and Bischoff entrusted the production to director Phil Karlson, who had hit his stride with an exceptional run of crime thrillers, Scandal Sheet, Kansas City Confidential, and 99 River Street among them. His films not only earned money, they changed the public's taste in cinematic crime. Like colleagues Sam Fuller and Don Siegel, Karlson made terse, hard-hitting movies, replacing the smooth stylistics of directors like Fritz Lang, Otto Preminger, and Robert Siodmak with a more smash-mouth attack. That is especially true of this film. Karlson's uncompromising handling of this material can induce a kind of blunt force trauma in some viewers, even today. Karlson led his crew into Phenix City only months after Albert Patterson's murder, while the guilty parties were still unknown and at large. He not only had the stones to take cameras right into the notorious 14th Street district that was a haven for racketeers, he enticed many of the local citizens to appear in the movie, giving it a rare and unnerving authenticity. Like many films of this era that promoted themselves as being ripped from the headlines, the Phenix City Story starts with a square-up. Normally, I hate these, as they tend to feature some politician or political appointee assuring the audience that, well, what we'll see is all true, thank God we have solved the problem. This one is different. Karlson made a 13-minute documentary short featuring actual citizens of Phenix City speaking for themselves. This prologue was offered to theater owners as a separate bonus feature to play before the film, if they chose to. For the sake of historical accuracy, we are including this prologue. When we get to the film itself, you're going to see and hear some brutal, ugly things. My advice is, don't look away. From 1955, here is The Phenix City Story.